The Borderlands franchise has given gamers guns, goofs, and glory since 2009, but the series' fourth mainline installment hasn't quite managed to maintain its once-sizable player base. So why is it that so many Vault Hunters have jumped ship? We can think of a few reasons. Some games like Fortnite and Valorant are designed for endless replayability. Borderlands 4 is not one of those games. It's a story-focused experience with a straightforward campaign that can be played either solo or with friends. It's full of side quests and opportunities perfect for FPS-style grinding. But no matter how you approach Borderlands 4, its story will always keep pushing you forward. For a huge swath of gamers, experiencing the story is the point of the game, especially for longtime fans who have been following the story from the very beginning. After they've charged through the campaign, they're usually ready to spend their valuable time taking on new titles.
YOLO, as they say.
Of course, everyone's experience will be different. Unless you're speedrunning, it takes at least 27 hours or so to complete the main story of Borderlands 4. But if you factor in side quests, you're looking at around 46 hours. If you want to explore every nook and cranny of the game and complete it 100%, that'll probably take upwards of 90 hours. Even so, we're now getting to the point where all types of players have finished their campaign, hence the steep drop-off in player numbers. At their core, the Borderlands games are looter shooters where finding the next shiny gun can be just as exciting as the next plot twist. That means when their story is done and dusted, there's still a reason to keep playing. Ahead of the launch of Borderlands 4, developer Gearbox took a page out of the live service playbook and released an ambitious roadmap laying out regular content drops. Those planned updates add even more reasons for players to keep going after they reach the finale of the story, so people can play Borderlands 4 endlessly, at least in theory. In practice, many players have been disappointed by the endgame content that they've discovered after hitting the credits. Players can do weekly missions, bounties, and continue grinding out boss battles in hopes that the perfect weapon for their build will randomly drop. Players will eventually be able to use those perfect weapons against even stronger bosses when Gearbox adds more content to the game and releases paid DLC. For now, a pure love of the franchise is the only reason to chase the best loot the game has to offer, and for many players, that just isn't enough to keep them going.
I take that personally.
While the majority of players who are leaving Borderlands 4 behind are doing so because the game functioned as intended, there are more unfortunate reasons too. Indeed, Borderlands 4 launched with some genuine problems that completely ruined the experience for some players. Most gamers have felt the pain of losing a save file at least once in their lives, like the Borderlands 4 players that ran into a glitch that completely erased the progress they'd made in the game. This glitch only impacted PC players, and it would rear its head whenever they tried to save. An in-game message would let them know that the game had failed to save, and the only way to fix it was restarting. That could lead to some furious frustration, depending on how long someone tried to go between saves. That wasn't the only save-related problem that PC players faced either. Another glitch prevented players from setting up an initial save file unless they jumped through extra hoops. Together, these two save glitches were undoubtedly enough to make some frustrated players throw up their hands and move on to a new game.
This is gonna take some cleanup.
Borderlands 4 is a perfectly fine game for someone looking for a single-player experience, but longtime franchise fans know that Borderlands games really shine when you play them with other people. Since the series debuted, cooperative play has been a major focus, and that's just as true with Borderlands 4 as it has been with the other games. Sadly, this is another area where some technical issues have seemingly been driving people away from the game. Arguably, the biggest issue with multiplayer in Borderlands 4 is a cheat used by some PC players online that allows toxic players to wildly manipulate the save files of their in-game partners. Early in the game's lifecycle, PC players were diving into a multiplayer session only to find their skill points completely changed, or even worse, the character reset to level 1. To avoid the issue, players had to completely ignore the game's matchmaking feature and only play online with people they actually knew. This rampant cheating undoubtedly drove some people away from the game, but even putting that aside, the Borderlands 4 matchmaking system leaves a lot to be desired. Players have complained online about the system being unreliable and having a distractingly bad user interface. On top of that, some of Gearbox's early patches for Borderlands 4 introduced fresh matchmaking glitches for PC players. Borderlands fans demand a killer multiplayer experience, and so far the latest entry in the series hasn't delivered that. There's another reason that gamers have been leaving Borderlands 4 in the dust, and it has nothing to do with the game itself or any of the work that Gearbox has put into it. No matter how good a video game is, it's always going to have to compete with the newest, shiniest titles on the market, and sometimes the competition is more fierce than others. 2025 has been full of mind-blowing games, and the steady stream of top-tier releases didn't stop when Gearbox put out its latest effort. Borderlands 4 debuted in early September, and for a brief moment, it was the hottest game on the market. It didn't take long for more highly anticipated titles to enter the scene. Ghost of Yotei dropped in early October, and hot on its heels came Ark Raiders. Both of those games offer massive worlds to explore and engaging combat to master. They're very different from Borderlands 4, but they were attractive enough to peel off some of its player base. Then there's games like Call of Duty Black Ops 7, which definitely scratches the FPS itch that the Borderlands series also appeals to. No game holds on to its players forever, but Borderlands 4 came out at a particularly competitive time in the video game market. In that context, the game's initial performance is impressive. But it's not surprising that Borderlands 4 lost a huge amount of players in just a handful of months, considering what it's been up against.
You have selected Die in a Screaming Inferno. Adios!